lyrical, psycho, spit, nitro, like lyrical, psycho, spit, nitro, like.
Great, awesome. Cool, boom. So this is another episode of TTM Chat. We've got the legendary, super legendary DJ Swamp in the house, a turntablist and rapper. And I recommend a lot of turntablists, you guys should start rapping because, you know, if you can't vocalize the patterns, it's going to be hard to scratch a lot of the patterns. So if I've noticed a lot of rappers that can rap and scratch, they can get patterns quicker. So we've got DJ Swamp in the house today, legendary producer, rapper, scratcher, you know, battle champion, and he's going to drop some jewels for us tonight. So what brings you out here to Atlanta right now?
Well, I'm doing a show at Smith's old bar, DJing for a friend of mine, Justin Symbol, aka Star Daddy, and we're on tour all over the U.S. right now, and just having a good time, you know, helping my friend out, and you know, doing the van tour.
Dope. That's so sick. And so, you know, what kind of jewels could you drop to the other turntablists out there? Because, you know, most cats are bedroom DJs these days, and a lot of stuff's gone underground, but you've, you know, been able to consistently be, you know, on tour. There's only a couple of DJs that I've noticed, like you, Cash Money, Jazzy Jeff, people that are constantly able to, you know, still get paper from the game. Like, what would your advice be to, you know, aspiring, you know, tablists?
Just don't give up, you know. Keep trying, be creative, don't be afraid. Just keep trying to come up with new ideas, and just, you know, never give up. Because if you give up, it's never gonna happen.
Exactly. And who are some of your influences?
I definitely list Aladdin, DJ Aladdin, as one of my main influences because he was just so wicked, you know. And I mean, I saw him open for, well, he was DJing for King T, opening for Ice-T was headlining,
wow.
And it was NWA and Eazy-E, the DOC,
wow.
And King T was the early opening act, and DJ Aladdin did a solo, and wow. I was a DJ at the time. I was only like 15 years old, but I was just blown away, you know, but the crowd didn't quite get it, you know, but he was so advanced, you know, for that, like, you know, audience that was there for Ice-T and NWA, they didn't quite get it. And this was in Cleveland, wow. But I got it, you know. So sometimes, you know, if you're doing a show and you just like, oh, well, you know, I have to dumb it down for my audience, for these people because they don't get it. Well, don't do that, because there might be that one dude that's influenced, like, that you just, you know, changed their whole shit, you know?
One person in the crowd, exactly.
And I was that one person, right? When Aladdin did it, you know? So much props and love for Aladdin because, you know, he just went beyond what people could comprehend, you know, back like, you know, in the 80s. And also, you know, I was influenced by, you know, same as everybody, DJ Jazzy Jeff, Cash Money, and all the way, you know, I still get influenced nowadays, you know. I like DJ Clever.
Oh, Clever, yeah,
and,
that's my homie, yeah.
Yeah.
See, I actually learned, like, when I learned the flare scratch back in the day, Clever had taught my homie Robbie, DJ, he used to go by C's, but now he goes by Rob Wonder. And then Robbie taught me how to flare. So, you know, like back in the 90s, I remember, you know, it was only so many people could do, you know, like when the flare came out, it was like, oh, like 50 people could do it. You know, now it might be like a couple of thousand, you know, maybe 5,000 and 10,000 people can do it now. You know, it's deep to just see all these things expand. So, you know, this cat here, you know, is not only legendary in technique, but also in battle record producing. Like, what kind of, you know, who are your influences as far as like records, and what led you to innovate and create, like, you know, no skip technology and all the stuff that everybody's copying right now?
Okay, well, there were these Simon Harris records that came out in the 80s, and I collected, like, you know, 2 or 3 every volume as they were coming out in the store in Cleveland. And there was one Simon Harris record that had a sound on it where it was the same sound 3 times in a row.
Wow.
But it didn't line up. They I was like, well, why didn't he just make them line up?
Yeah.
And then, you know, I was like waiting and waiting. I waited 7 years for somebody to ever do that.
Wow.
And they never did. And by this time I had gotten, you know, this was after I won the DMC, and then I got my gig with Beck, and Beck was like 4 times platinum artist, and we were touring the world, and I was making tons of money. I was like, I'm gonna do that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and try it.
Yeah.
And I tried it the first time, and it was stupid. I made another test press. I blew probably like $7,000 trying to make that first one, and it wasn't even perfect.
That's
but
crazy.
once it was like, oh well,
That's
it works
crazy.
though.
Yeah,
it
yeah.
works. I came out with that Skip Proof Scratch Tool Volume 1. And
that's crazy.
Yeah, and then you know, the rest is history. Now every single battle record you see out, I don't care if it's a 7-inch or whatever, they're using
Everybody's
that. You know,
doing it. Everybody.
Y'all bid it. Y'all know y'all bid it.
Everybody. Wow, that's crazy. And then, so what? Like, were you ever into like? I mean, like, what early break records? Other ones were you into? Like,
I liked Hamster Breaks and Rectangle Records and what else? You know, just like, you know, Rock the Bells and Run DMC records, like everybody. You know, I had original Change the Beat Fab Five Freddy I was scratching with, and you know, I had like a pristine one and a real fucked up one to like scratch with and practice with, and you know, the good one, you save that for when it was time to like record a mixtape or something, you know.
Exactly. That's sick. So, what about as far as like the rap? Because you're a rapper and a turntablist, and one of the first, if not the first, I don't know, to be scratching and rapping within the same set. Like, are you the first to do that, to be scratching and rapping? Because cats will drop a record and then start rapping. But
no, I would never
like
claim to be the first or anything. You know, I mean, there's. I mean, sure, shit, Egyptian Lover.
Okay,
what is a DJ
right,
if
yeah.
you can't scratch?
He's on the mic, yeah.
He was the one rapping that, you know, and I was rapping before, you know, DJing and breakdancing, making beats, all that. The DJing took off for me, yeah, that's what happened.
All right, now so let's talk about DMC and battles. You know, I personally feel you were robbed that year, like when you won the USA. I don't know, was that 96 or 95? And I felt you should have won the world,
right?
You know, because I mean, everything you had done everything that everybody had done before, plus all the extra. And at that time, to me, it was the most advanced set that there was.
All I could say is, yeah, that was the plan. But at the same time, you know, when I won that USA, I was fortunate enough to have come up with this super sick. Then began to crush his way into San Francisco intro, and it just really like set it up for me to just, you know, do. I don't know. It was just a better set, you know. When I did the USA.
From the deep darkness of Cleveland, Ohio, came a creature that terrorized New York. Then began to claw and crush its way into San Francisco. Nothing could stop the incredible giant.
I was happy that I had won the USA. I mean, I worked really hard to win the USA. I practiced like a lot, and I couldn't believe like I had even got that far. And once I got that far, I kind of knew I was on, because at that particular time, that was like winning American Idol or something. You win the USA, you were gonna get on. Like Rectangle was DJing with Warren G, and Rock Raider was DJing for Showbiz and AG, and you know, just everybody who had won. You know, Aladdin went on with King T. Everybody, if you won the US, you were pretty much guaranteed you were on.
Exactly.
Winning the world didn't guarantee that.
Exactly.
DJ David, you never heard nothing about him again.
Exactly. So
lots of people, you know.
So check this out. What do you feel about this? Because I feel like by the time 2000 hit, I feel like people aren't really doing anything new since then. Like, because, you know, it's like when you were doing stuff, late 90s, mid 90s, it's like all this new stuff was happening.
We get rained on.
I know, right?
Let's go inside.
Yeah. So back to what we were just talking about. The rain just kind of interrupted us, so we just switched locations. So behind the scenes, you were just talking about you were on tour with Ministry.
Yeah. I was on tour with Ministry for 2017, 2018. You know, it was a dream come true. I got to travel the world with him, play to a whole, you know, expose my art to a whole another audience, and you know, it was a lot of fun. And also, it was you know, it was very demanding, and I was able to achieve, like, I was able to raise my level of art, just doing stuff that I just thought was impossible. You know, I was really like, I impressed myself as far as like, and when I did it, when I first started, I was doing it digitally, but then I went ahead and got vinyl pressed up of the actual samples and did it 100% live, real. I mean, I made the sample skip proof and stuff, but it was analog, doing a real vinyl. Like, who does that anymore? Exactly. Anybody nowadays would probably say that's impossible. Who's gonna press up vinyl to scratch with a heavy metal band and do it, you know, live with no digital or anything, you know?
So back to your influences, and, you know, like, you know, your sets have ranged so many, you know, different genres, from metal to hip hop to industrial to all these different things. What were your influences growing up as far as, like, just music in general?
Oh, well, you know, I just remember being like 9 years old, really into Prince. And music in general, just, you know, top 40 and everything, you know. I mean, I didn't even know what a drum machine was. I just, you know, assumed all those beats were drummers, but in hindsight, the drum machine beats, it seems like the songs with drum machine beats, even though I thought it was a live drummer, were the things that I gravitated to, and were the records that I was recording on my tapes and stuff like that.
Sick.
Yeah.
So yeah, we were talking about the battle stuff, and I was saying, like, I felt like around 2000, like after like Kintaro, I feel like, okay, he was going real fast, but I feel like after Kintaro, there wasn't a lot of new techniques, like, you know, as far as like, hey, there's this new pattern that nobody's, you know, because everybody's still doing the kind of same pattern. They're adding the buttons in there. It just seems like it kind of.
I like that you mentioned Kintaro, because if you watch that routine, it's 9 out of 10 of those records are DJ Swamp records. So if you look at it, they're all, and he did exactly what I made those records to be done with. He understood it. You know, he got it right away, and yeah, that's and he actually, you know, threw me a bone years later. When did he win? 2002 or
2001
2001, something like that. So yeah, almost like 17 years later, he was the one that had me come over to Japan and be part of the Turntable Orchestra.
Okay, yeah, perfectly. Yeah, we can segue into that. I was going to ask you about that. So how did that go? That's a legendary,
it was an honor, you know.
Thing.
They flew over, you know, the 30 best, or 30 of the best, I should say, that they, you know, wanted to use for the Turntable Orchestra, sponsored by Technics. I mean, they spent a fortune flying us all out there and all that equipment.
In Dubai too. You guys played in Dubai too?
No, that was a different one.
Oh, it's different. So some of the people that were in that one was okay. I
don't think they're related. I think it was just they did that one later.
Okay, I thought it was the same thing. Okay.
No, I don't think so. Maybe it was. I don't know. I wasn't part of that one.
The thing you were in was just Japan.
And they had
I've seen
us
the
all
documentary on it. Yes.
Yeah, they put us all in tuxedos.
Yeah, I saw that.
Like
yeah.
That. I don't think they put them in tuxedos in Dubai.
Yeah. So you've traveled all over the world with so many groups. What are your favorite cities?
Oh, you know, in all the ones that I haven't been to yet. You know,
right.
I mean, I've been to, you know, a lot of places. You know, 10, 20, 30 times, and you know, you just kind of like more excited to go someplace you haven't been before.
Oh wow,
I only need 4 states left before I've done solo shows in all 50. I just need Maine,
50 states.
Maine,
I don't know
New Hampshire, Rhode Island, and Delaware. So if anybody out there can get me shows in those 4, I'll have completed all 50. You know, I have played Maine with Ministry, but I don't count that. I think I might have played Delaware with Beck too, but I don't count that. They got to be DJ Swamp solo shows, and all I need is Maine, New Hampshire, Delaware, and Rhode Island. So yeah, if y'all know any promoters out there, tell them to get at me, because you know they're all right next to each other. I could probably knock them all out in one weekend. You know, if we organized it right.
Exactly. And how would you say, as far as the U.S., where do you feel like? I've noticed that the West Coast seems to be a lot more love for like hip hop and people touring. Like, people tour up and down the West Coast a lot more than, it's a little bit less of a strip of like, people that are just, it seems like as far as hip hop is a lot of live. Do you see yourself bouncing, as far as tours? Do you see yourself all over the place as far as different types of bands, or are things getting more gothic these days, or like in this particular era? You've gone through so many eras.
Kinda,
like what?
It does seem like it. Yeah, I've just been surprised. Like on this particular tour, especially, it's like everybody who's opening for us. It's like it's like trap. And then straight up like Cookie Monster.
Exactly.
It's crazy. But I love it, It's like, kids could be into anything nowadays, and if it's something that I actually can relate to and like, 808 beats, something I've loved my entire life. And at the same time, dark gothic kind of aesthetic, I'm all about it, So I'm really stoked. I'm really having a good time. And as far as like, a lot of people are just like, man, what happened to hip hop? I'm just like, it's awesome.
Exactly.
What are you talking about? It's evolved,
Exactly.
I don't want to listen to, the same stuff I was listening to 30 years ago. There's a lot of stuff, I still need to listen to,
Exactly. So that leads me to a perfect question. What are your favorite sounds to scratch? I mean, like, obviously we can assume that the sounds that are on your battle records are some of your favorite sounds, but like, like for me, like, like I hate, like let's say rim shots, because they're so short. I don't really like scratching rim shots that much. I like the longer, kind of chunkier snare. Like, what kind of snares and kicks do you like to and sounds in general? Like, what do you like to scratch?
Well, as far as like,
like electronic versus live snares, like what are your...
Well, when you say snares, that's more production to me. Than, it's not like I just scratch snares or something, But I like snares to sound 12-bit or crunchy and kind of old school. And but as far as like scratch sounds on this tour, I've been scratching all kinds of like 808s and stuff that just blow up the whole club, like boom, 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 And as far as like, also I scratch a lot of crazy white noise that's just like, real just like kind of stuff. And I also scratch, the classic sounds through echoes and what else?
Exactly, because
just a lot of try to do like futuristic sounding scratch sounds, but. I'll scratch break beats too, and do beat juggling and that kind of thing, and scratch 2 808 beats and trap beats, and I like tones. I scratch a lot of tones.
Exactly, tone pioneer. I mean, all the needle drop stuff. It's like, that influenced the whole generation of people being able to
swamp breaks with the guitar tones.
Exactly. Definitely. Like so were you the first to put a whole scale on a because that's officially making the record into an instrument where you can just completely play it by dropping the needle, and each track is a different note. And he had like a guitar loop, like that one with the guitars that it looped around. And all that
swamp breaks.
Exactly. Amazing stuff. So for the future turntables, I mean, you notice everybody's doing the portable stuff now. Everybody's getting the portables. I noticed a lot of cats that were dropping in the 90s are converting their stuff to the 7-inches. Are you converting all your stuff over to a lot of these 7-inch?
No. I did come out with a 7-inch, and it has like infinite tone on it and some like other scratch sounds, skip-proof scratch sounds, and some original songs. But it really wasn't my idea. This other label, Ruined Vibes, came to me, and they were more like they wanted to put out a 3D 7-inch with a 3D cover, and that would come with the 3D glasses, so you could look at the 3D cover, and then the songs that are on there, you can watch the videos on YouTube in 3D with the red and blue 3D glasses.
Yeah, that's so
cool. As far as like, everybody's like, why don't you put your whole back catalog out and on 7 inches and stuff like that? It would I don't know, it's just not in me to really do it just for money. It's not like I get into scratching. I mean, I do scratch that I scratch like 7-inch here and there in my show, but it's kind of like part of a trick. And then
exactly.
But as far as like just wanting all my back catalog on 7-inch to scratch on portable, it's just I feel like it kind of throws me off a little bit as far as like scratching on 12-inch or whatever.
Yeah, it throws me off too. It's kind of like
it's like just throwing a professional pitcher going playing softball.
Exactly, softball or women's basketball versus a guy's basketball, or even a small mini board, a little board compared to a big board, or a surfboard compared to a boogie board. It's very, very different. Because you only have a little small space. So, what do you think of like as far as the where things are headed with the phase and with all that type of stuff with phase and even
phase is the only thing about phase that is attractive is that a lot of times you plug up your computer to Serato, doesn't work. It's something wrong. If all it has to do is turn and you've got those things on it. It should probably, in theory, work.
Easier,
there's a few tricks I had in mind to do with phase that I might do down the line, but.
So did you ever? So have you stopped? Was there a year you would say, or an era where you kind of transitioned and like, okay, I'm just gonna bring a couple records now. Most of my stuff's on Serato. Like, are you still? What's your setup like now? Like,
it's different all the time. I mean, most of the time, I use real vinyl in conjunction with either CDJs or maybe more recently I started messing with Serato because. I went to Hawaii. I was in Kauai, and they couldn't find any CDJs to even like rent over there. So I had to use Serato, but I did good. So I just went ahead and I was like, oh well, I could do this. Some other time. I tried this some more or whatever. So I messed with it some more, but ideally, I like having the CDJs and the real vinyl. That's
because
the way I've been doing it for a long time.
The cue point's never going to get lost. Like with the Pioneers. That's why I've always actually liked Pioneer CDJs over the Serato, because it's like when that whole cue point thing, and if you're trying to do something crazy with it, it's great to always know that the cue point's always going to be in that place, and it's not going to do some weird like oops, a little glitch shift. Now it's in a different place or something.
And I also just got the little Starlight, Hercules Starlight thing. It's only like $74, and I mean, if you look on Instagram, I got the video of me scratching on the plane. I don't think anybody's done that yet, where I was scratching on the plane. I think I beat everybody to scratching on the plane.
I'll put a picture of that.
If somebody else has done it before, please correct me and show me the video, but I think I'm the only one who scratched on the plane in coach.
Exactly. I scratched, right? Exactly. So, are you planning to release new records or just?
I have plans. Sometimes they,
I mean, battle records. I mean, of course you're dropping.
Yeah, I have ideas and stuff like that. I was talking to some people. We were going to do some stuff together, but it's just like like I used to have a lot more money back in the day, and I would just do it, whether it was going to make money or not, and that's I would like to if I had a lot of money I would still do the same thing just for my art, but after 22 23 vinyl records, mostly double vinyl too.
23
there's a lot of them
crazy.
Out there.
That's
a lot of them available on DJSwamp.com too, so I've still got a lot of them left, so if you want to buy some of those, that might help me fund some new ones.
That's sick.
And I do have ideas for some new ones.
That's sick.
Yeah.
Wow, that's great. So it's been super sick talking with you. I just have some last questions about rapping and pyrotechnics and all that type of stuff, because there's always been the showmanship element within battle culture and scratching and DJing, and this guy, he basically took it to a whole higher level of actually spitting out fire and rapping about spitting out for like lyrical cycle, spit nitro, and then shooting out the fire. I don't even know what that's called, like literary wise. I might have to look that up. I don't know what that's called when you say something and then you actually physically do it. I don't even know that's even been done before. So that's just a whole nother level. what led you
literally
to
and
to
metaphorically.
Do that? Exactly. What led you
led me to do that?
Take it to that level.
Okay, so you got
because people are always scratching, explosions and this and that, but to actually be scratching bombs and explosions and actually spit fire and actually make a real explosion.
Okay, so Jerry Lee Lewis,
Oh,
Great Balls.
Lewis,
When he
okay.
did Great Balls of Fire,
Uh-huh.
he set his piano on fire.
Wow.
And when Jimi Hendrix did Fire, Let Me Stand Next to Your Fire,
Yeah.
he set his guitar on fire. So I had to set the turntable on fire.
Wow. So you were the first to set the turntable
Yeah.
on fire. Wow. And when was that?
Breathe
When did that?
Fire.
When was the first
no
time you
DJs
did that?
was breathing fire before me. There's been others now, but I'm pretty sure I was the first.
And when would you say that was when you first set the turntable on fire in front of a crowd?
2000,
Wow, 2000. Where was that?
Seattle.
Wow, Seattle. Wow,
Yeah.
that's crazy. That's
Yeah.
crazy. And then and what happened with that? Like it was the vinyl was on fire. The
Yeah, it's just the
mixer?
vinyl.
Okay,
It's
the vinyl,
more of a
uh-huh.
trick, I mean, smashing the records like I did in the DMC. It's like, whoa, it's like he smashed the record. It's like, so what? It's not like smashing a guitar. It's like smashing a guitar, but it's not like you're out $500. You're out like one record.
And people have been smashing the laptops
Setting
now.
a record on fire is like, the same thing.
Exactly. How do you feel about the people smashing the laptops? Do you think that's like?
I did that. I did that.
So you
I
started?
hurried up.
Did you start?
I didn't start it because I don't think
anybody.
anybody. It's not like it really resonated. But I wanted to do it just before anybody else did it. So I did it at a show in Seattle. But I did it kind of ornery because I was like still on a vinyl purist kind of kick.
Yeah.
And there was the laptop up there, but it was like. It was my laptop.
Yeah.
But it was like a laptop I didn't care about.
Yeah.
And I had it up there, and I basically like acted like, who left their laptop up here?
Yeah, exactly.
So I had to smash it. But
I see. That's dope.
yeah, and it was like it wasn't as cool as rocking so hard on your guitar and then you smash it, or cutting it up so hard on vinyl and then smash it. It was just just trying shit.
So back on that showmanship tip, the music videos. I see your music videos. You're skating. You're on boats. You're doing all these different amazing things. What do you see? For the future of for your fans. The future of what you're going to drop as far as music releases and all that.
I don't know. There's so many ideas, that I have. I just don't know. Sometimes I have like too many ideas. Which ones do you do? And at the same time, I got a little off track because when I was with ministry, I started putting all my energy into that. And after that was over, and now I'm helping some other friends or whatever. I'm trying to like figure it out again right now. This is a good thing to keep me busy, and at the same time, it's helping me figure it out because I'm out here in with my ear to the street, seeing what everybody's into nowadays. And I would just staying in LA or staying home, you would never even know that like people are rapping this way in Florida and rapping this way in Atlanta and here and there. It's just like, wow, I'm
so vast now, right? Because remember back in the day, it was like things were small. It's like off camera we were talking about Jack the Rapper. Like at those points it was like a couple of seminars and people knew each other. What was your experience with that? This is the last question with like Jack the Rapper.
Oh yeah, so I was here in 1993 at the Marriott Marquis for Jack the Rapper, and that was the year that Death Row and Luther Campbell and Luke Records were like, I don't know, it was like a riot and it was all crazy. But I got to see Tupac walking around live in the flesh right in front of me. It was right after he came out with Poetic Justice, and I met Ultramagnetic MCs. I saw Poor Righteous Teachers perform. Saw Wu-Tang. I think it might have been the first show Wu-Tang Clan ever did. I saw. Wow. Oh, you know what I did? I went to. I think it was. Man, what was the Phoenix? Okay. There was a club called the Phoenix, and I saw Biggie Smalls' first show ever.
Wow.
It was he wasn't Notorious B.I.G. yet. He was just Biggie Smalls. All he had out was Party and Bullshit at the time. It was supposed to be Nasty Nas, whoever that group was that made Yay Though I Walk Through the Valley of the Skins, and some other group, and Biggie Smalls. And I went because I wanted to see Nas, because all he had out at the time was Live at the Barbecue and Back to the Grill Again.
Wow, that's crazy.
But he didn't show up.
What year?
This was 93.
93. Wow.
It was summer of 93. And I didn't see, Nas didn't show up. But Biggie Smalls showed up, and he had his crew on stage with him. He was wearing like some sweatpants. He wasn't all fly yet or anything like that. And I just remember like something happened like with a song or something like that, and he's just like, hold on, we gotta stop this. We gotta start it all over because we gotta get this right. This is my first show ever.
Wow, crazy. And what city was that?
That was here.
That was in Atlanta. Wow,
that was here
that's
at the Phoenix.
Crazy. Wow,
yeah.
Wow.
And I remember who else? It was Houdini was there, and anyways though, but yeah, it's like, you know, I've definitely, that was my first time ever being in Atlanta, and it was such a classic hip hop moment for me. So whenever I come back to Atlanta, I just think about when I was here in 1993 and how my mind was blown and shaped, and you know, all this, you know, I don't know, there's just so many stories from there. I was hanging out with like Lords of the Underground, and I had met Parental Advisory.
Wow,
who was,
Parental Advisory.
Yeah, the
Atlanta.
DJ. I was hanging out with the DJ, and he's gone on to, I think he had something to do with putting out Yellow Wolf and a whole bunch of other people, maybe Soulja Boy and stuff like that.
We're talking about Clever too, you know.
Yeah, Clever,
right,
Clever,
you know?
yeah.
Shout out to Clever, you know.
Yep.
Yeah.
And anyways, like, yeah, I saw Tupac. I never ever talked to him, but I did see him. That was the first time I ever saw him live in the flesh. Just hanging out in the Marriott, you know, and just, you know, I remember him like seeing Tretch from Naughty by Nature, and they were hanging out.
I went there. I was really young. I went there, and I feel like I met Drez from Black Sheep. I had interviewed him with this camera. And then, you know, that was it. I don't think I actually went inside. I think he was just like outside. You know, I was like in high school and stuff.
But I don't know if you saw that 95 DMC East Coast.
Oh, no. I had, we were trading those tapes around. Like,
okay.
Because this is like, you know, before the internet, before you could just be like, oh, you know, you type juggling and a million things come up. We were like, what is this? What's happening? Like, all we could, like, I saw the movie Juice, and I had like 3 DMC tapes, you know. Okay,
so the 1995 East Coast DMC, where I qualified to go to the World, that was the one where I came in second, and but it was such a big deal in Cleveland that like when I I had went to New York and came in second in the DMC and was going to the U.S. finals. It was such big news in Cleveland that they had me open for Tupac at the arena, at the Gun Arena, in front of 15,000 people. I got to open for Tupac.
That's crazy.
And it was December.
Tupac.
It was December 1995.
Wow.
And so, like, yeah, then he died September 1996. But I saw him close up. He was, you know, only been out of jail for a few months. Wow. But I saw him close up, like, backstage, and I saw the bullet wound in his head, like, firsthand. And he had, you know what? There was an interaction, a slight interaction. I was standing on the side of the stage looking up, like, you know, it's out here, the crowd's all out there, and I'm on the side of the stage watching, you know, and he's got, like, strippers and stuff on stage with him. Yeah, it was, like, crazy. They were, like, super, like, it was crazy. But anyways, though, at one point he does come down to me. He's like, "Hey, get him!" And I was like, I tapped the dude next to me or whatever. He was like, "What's the next song on the DAT?"
All right, let's make sure. Wow, so that's crazy. So yeah, so we're wrapping that up. You know, so people know how heavy you are in the game. what are some of the you know the cats that you toured with over the years? You had mentioned Beck, Ministry, you know, Tupac. That's crazy. Just to be able to say Beck, Ministry, Tupac alone. Just with that, people can eat off of just those three names. That's, you know.
Well, also a big one for me was the Crystal Method.
Wow.
I was their DJ for a tour in 2002, and that's a classic for me because I was on the biggest song they ever came out with called Name of the Game, and I'm pretty much doing the chorus, but that's the name of the game. All the scratching is on there, and that was with Tom Morello from Rage Against the Machine playing guitar, and that song has ended up in like the first thing when you see the movie Tropic Thunder, the first thing when the movie starts, you hear my scratching. The first thing
So you're in Tropic Thunder? Wow.
Well, the scratching from the song Name of the Game, that's my scratching. Yeah,
that's crazy.
So,
that's crazy.
Yeah. And it's been in Blade 2.
Wow,
and
Blade 2.
It pops up in a lot of stuff. That song's gotten licensed a lot.
Wow,
and,
that is sick.
Yeah, and then I've been on, you know, I did scratching on the song Roving Gangster on Kid Rock's album. The Devil Without a Cause.
What year?
Devil Without a Cause. That was 1998.
Wow,
and that record's gone 15 times platinum.
Wow, that's crazy.
And I was on Katy Perry's record. The first single, the one before I Kissed a Girl, she had a song called You're So Gay, and it has scratching on it. That's me.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
that's crazy. I gotta go search that. We gotta look that up. That's crazy.
And I've done. What else? I've done just done a ton of, like, as far as, like, you know, when it comes to, like, they have like studio musicians in LA that are like, you know, the studio musician drummers, the studio musician keyboard players, this and that. I don't think there's been one. I can't think of anybody who's been more used over 25 years than me. You know, I've just been on
so he's the man.
So many people's stuff. You know,
that's crazy. That's
everybody
crazy.
From.
Yeah, the list.
The list. It's on Wikipedia. I can't
Wikipedia. We'll pop up the Wikipedia and actually show the list.
Yeah,
we'll actually drop that on the screen.
Definitely had some crazy adventures and been very fortunate to be able to do art with, you know, very talented people
and not have to compromise. That's the key too, because it's like it's easy to be like, oh yeah, I got in this one vein, and then a lot of people like stop scratching, they start giving up, but you're still doing all the things you were originally doing on stage that you were doing, you know, like, you know, you're not, you know, just being like, oh yeah, I'm gonna, you know, people don't like, they just want to dance, you know, you're actually giving, you know, people real performances and pushing the sound.
I'm not afraid to compromise though, you know, whatever somebody wants me to do, I'll do it, because, you know, I get a lot of freedom too. Sometimes I have too much freedom, and it's good to be told what to do, because you might learn something.
Oh, right.
So I you know, I'm
so you're not like parties as well.
Yeah.
Parties,
everything. I DJ'd like a few years ago. I did Cheech and Chong's after party.
Wow,
got to meet Cheech and Chong.
That's crazy.
And,
that's crazy.
That was a dream come true. And I just did Eric Andre's birthday party just this past April.
Wow.
That was cool. DJing Eric Andre's birthday party, and Danny Brown performed, and Playboy Cardi, and Weird Al Yankovic came to the party. Oh yeah, I've been on a Weird Al Yankovic record as well. He remembered me. I was like, he was
on the record.
Yeah,
on
the album Poodle Hat, on the song. I forget the name of the song, but he was making fun of Beck. That's why he got me to do the scratching on it.
I remember.
And anyways, I saw him. I hadn't seen him in about 18 years or something like that since I did the record. And I was like, hey, it's DJ Swamp. He remembered me, and he was like, oh, wow, you know, we still use your scratching on the backing track when we do that song live.
That's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's like, you know, that's out of control. So do you think that, when DXT won the Grammy, you know, with scratching, do you think that, you know, scratching could ever get back in that limelight of being able to win a Grammy, like for the actual sound of the scratching? You know, because a lot of times, you know, people throw it at the end or that, but actually be able to have a chorus, or do you think it could ever come back?
Yeah, for sure. I
mean, like in the pop sense, like how that was just a big hit where people are like, oh wow, what's that new sound?
Yeah, it hasn't since then. Has it?
No, like that Nicki Minaj redid The Baby Got Back, and it had those cuts on it.
Yeah.
And that was like probably one of the most recent time I heard scratching on the radio.
Yeah.
You know, but since then, you know, it's like maybe Outkast, Bombs Over Baghdad a long time ago, 20 years ago. You know.
Yeah, I mean, especially now, sure. You know.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's just different now. You know, it's I mean, if anything, you know, there's more of a chance now than back in the day because you're not limited to just scratching things that were copywritten.
Exactly.
You can create stuff to scratch that you own, and if anybody else steals it, then you know.
Exactly. So speaking of that, so to wrap it up, now, do you have any advice to all the kids that are, you know, making their own battle records, arranging their own samples, you know, whether it's digitally or whatever, you know, what advice do you have towards them of like digging and or you know, now it's internet digging maybe, you know?
Just don't make anything that you wouldn't use. If you're like, oh man, the DJ's gonna love this because I'm gonna, all these DJs gonna love this and I'm gonna get paid. You're probably not. You're probably gonna. It's probably gonna backfire on you. You make that shit for you, and then you use it because if you won't use it, you can't expect somebody else to use that shit.
That's real. That's real. Dope, man. Thanks so much. Thanks. Wow, it's so sick to have a legend in the house, and that's another episode. All right, peace. Peace.
Lyrical, psycho, spit, nitro, like. Lyrical, psycho, spit, nitro, like. Blazing.